Hello YouTube, my name is McFlippers and welcome to the UTF series, episode 5 here in the lovely land of Droox. I'm super excited to get into the video as always, so without further ado, let's go. So after I ended the last episode, I went back to the Nether and got some of our stuff back. We got some of our enchanting levels, but not all of them, and the only valuable thing we brought there we actually got back, which is this cool bow with mending on it. So I didn't bring anything valuable there, so I didn't expect to bring anything valuable back, but we at least got the bow and some levels, so that's pretty lucky. However, I do have brighter plans for this episode. We haven't built anything in the past 2 episodes, and I've been itching to build something, so today we're going to build a blacksmith shop. And the reason I want to build a blacksmith shop is because I want to put a super smelter inside of it. And we need a super smelter to cook all the fish that have been gathering down in that AFK farm. There's almost a double chest full of them, and I don't want to use those 2 puny furnaces over there. I want to use an automatic smelter that I can just let be up here and have it run on its own without my intervention. And as well as that, while we're doing all that stuff, I'd like to tell the story of Droox, like I said I was going to do in the last episode. So, I need to clear some space for our blacksmith shop, and I will be back when I am ready to start building. Alright, I'm back. I have cleared out some of the space in front of here, and also made a bit of a frame for myself to work on. So, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. So, I'm going to start building this, and while I'm building this, I believe it is time to tell a little bit of the story of Droox. So the way Droox works is that there's a northern Droox and a southern Droox, and it just so happens, very luckily enough for me, that I built this on a southern coast. So this is indeed southern Droox, as it's supposed to be. I actually didn't check the direction before I started building in the first episode, which may have been smart if I wanted to call this Southern Droox, and I'm out of food. So I went and got some fish from the AFK farm to help hold us over until we get the smeltery up and running, and I just threw up the walls and framework while I was at it because that's a sort of boring process, and you've all already seen me do that once before, so I didn't really feel like you needed to see it again and again and again. But now we are putting up these pathways. Not really a pathway, it's like a little balcony, sort of. It's like a porch. It's a porch. And it's what we are going to be using to get up and down into the house. It does have a little bit of a raised bed right here, as seen. So, back to the story of Droox. So it is at this point that I must now speak to you as
Future Flippers!
So I was working on the house while I tried to illustrate to you all the story of Droox and how it came to be. However, I couldn't keep my focus on both at the same time, so I ended up with some incomprehensible rambling that couldn't be understood and no one would want to listen to. So I came to the conclusion that you needed to hear me as future McFlippers while you watch me build the house. I'm going to try to not do this for future episodes, but I couldn't help it for this one because my rambling was just too horrible for anyone to listen to, and it wouldn't portray Droox very well. So, Droox is the capital of the UTF lands, which basically stands for the United Tentacles of Flippy. I am the Flippy, or McFlippers. The resident squid mostly build tall, grand wooden structures, sometimes stone, but not as often. And as the capital, it is their duty to hold all of the UTF's beloved apples. They are equally strong and peaceful, and will only resort to violence if their apples are threatened. So don't try to steal the apples from the apple vault. One day, a group of explorers from Droox went to expand the borders of the capital and founded Southern Droox, thus becoming Northern and Southern Droox. And though they still hold to their origins, They build on a much smaller scale to conserve on resources that are already so hard to collect as it is, without the full force of Drooks behind them. They are, however, the lead producers of fish in the northern Drooks, and use only water routes to trade as to avoid pillagers on their travels. They live humble and peaceful lives, just as the Drooksians do, and as for their apples, they are sent all the way back to northern Drooks via the water routes, hopefully not to be stolen by pillagers or pirates, to be kept safe in the apple vault of northern Drooks. And that's basically all there is to Drooks and southern Drooks, as of the time being. And remember, we can always keep evolving the story as we go on, but that's the basic concept as it is now. So here we are, inside our new blacksmith shop, all done with telling the story of Drooks. If any of you do have any questions about the story, or if there's something I missed out that doesn't make sense, or something that needs more explaining or definition, feel free to tell me in the comments and I can bring clarity to it, or I can just mention it in the next video. Either way, that was the story, so I hope you enjoyed that little bit of talking, and now it is time to get back into the building. I did leave myself a little staircase up to the roof, which is actually kind of useless now that I'm here. I have to climb up there. And we're going to be putting in a chimney, and I think right here in this little corner is a great place for it, so just like this, should be pretty good. Gotta get some andesite and some cobblestone in there. So we'll throw in the andesite, throw in the cobble, throw in some bricks, some cobble, some bricks, some broken brick. And actually, I should probably put in some stairs as well, huh? And right about here is where I should be doing this little pattern right here. Trademark of Drooks. As you can see, we've done it on both of our roofs. I'm not going to be putting the cobwebs up today, I don't think. I don't have enough cobwebs for starters, and that's just not on my agenda right now. So now that the chimney is done, we've got 3 other things to do with the blacksmith shop before it's complete. First is going to be some detailing of the exterior. We have to do the interior of the build, and we have to actually build the smeltery in this little space right here, which is what this staircase is for. I designed this building to perfectly fit the smeltery and all of the components inside of it, as well as also be a nice aesthetic piece to our town. So I'm going to start putting in some of the detailing. You've already seen me do that with these 2 houses. It's basically going to be the same thing, just a fence going up, some fences across, stairs in random places to make the roof thicker and change up the palette a little bit in some places. And that's about it. That's all there is to it, really. So I'm going to get to doing that, and I'll cut you back in when something cool happens. In this latest breaking development, I stupidly tried to build in the middle of the night, and thus was killed by a skeleton who surprise attacked me. Unfortunate though it may be, we will continue. Progress update though. I have put in most of the fences around the outside, although they don't contrast very much, do they? I might change them to oak, but other than that, I think, yeah, I might change them to oak. But other than that, I'm going to keep detailing, and I'll see you when I'm done. So before the sun sets too far, I just wanted to show you, I have completed the exterior. I put these little slabs and fences or fence gates on the bottom to fill up some of the space. And I put little shutters, I suppose they would be, on the windows. And that's about it. I thickened up the roof, I put up the fences, and it's looking pretty fine. So now it's time for the interior. So think bed there. We'll put... Let me get some crafting tables. Now, you know, we need all those crafting tables. We will put a table across there, and actually, we'll grab a trapdoor, or not a trapdoor, one of those. I think the bed may actually fare better over here on this side. No, I dislike that. I'm gonna toy around with this and I'll come back to you when I have a better idea. So I've come up with a better plan for the interior. Downstairs is just some regular chests and stuff, some shelf units, a table, and upstairs I built a little loft so that we could fill up some of the roof space and also have a place for the bed. And I think it's a pretty good place. I mean, you know, you get this nice window view up here from the loft, which is pretty good. So whoever lives here gets a nice view. And that's basically the whole house done, except for the smeltery, which we're going to be putting right there. But the smeltery is going to require some extra explaining, because I'm going to end up doing it in a sort of weird way that is not very common. Or at least, I don't think it's very common. In fact, I don't think it's really ever done at all. So, I'm going to go hop into a testing world, and I'll see y'all there. So a usual super smelter consists basically of a chest, a hopper, a furnace, a hopper, and a chest. What happens is, well, I mean, technically there would be a hopper in the back as well, but hoppers from the top and from the back would pull coal and fuel, or coal and burnables down into the furnace. They would cook, and they would go down here. And then you would pick them up, and they would be done. But I never liked getting coal, because coal takes a long time to get. And so, I've set up a simulation over here to help explain what this thing does. This is something that I designed a very long time ago, and I don't know if anyone else has ever tried to build this in concept or ever in the actual game for any practical use. But I always build it, and I love it. So, I'm going to be showing you why I choose that design. So, first things first. I have a stack of 20 wood and a stack of 20 coal. Now, I did some research on it. Coal with a diamond pick actually takes 0.6 seconds to mine, whereas wood takes 0.4 seconds. Now, you multiply that by the 20 blocks I have here, and that's a 4-second difference. 4 seconds with only 20 blocks. And that doesn't seem that significant as it is, but it would get more significant as you move on, especially considering that wood, especially spruce wood, in the biome we're in, is everywhere, and coal is significantly less abundant. You have to go down into caves. You have to start strip mines. You have to look for the coal. Wood is everywhere. So there's no abundancy issue. And so, I'm going to grab a diamond axe and a diamond pick. We're going to mine down these. I'm going to time myself, and we're going to see just how long it takes. So as you could see by the timestamps, it took 4 seconds longer to mine down the coal than the wood. And that is just this demonstration. On a smaller scale, the numbers would be a lot smaller, and a larger scale, the numbers would be far larger. And I could be off by a couple seconds or so, but I think the general concept, the general idea here is that wood does not take nearly as much time as coal does to mine down. Which brings us on to our next point. If I were to put one coal in the furnace, it would cook exactly 8 items, and only 8. If I were to put 8 coal in the furnace, it would cook the whole stack of items. Now, as we just saw in the demonstration over here, coal takes longer to mine than wood. So, it would make more sense to turn this one piece of coal into 8 charcoal, which can then cook the 64 items for you. So you're saving up on coal, which takes a lot longer to mine down than wood, and is far less abundant than wood, especially if you're in the biome that we're in, with the mega taiga and the super tall spruce trees, where we can get tons of wood, dump it all in, make charcoal, and that charcoal then makes us tons and tons and tons of fuel to smelt all of our fish, iron, or whatever we have to smelt at the time. Which is what this machine does over here. Now, I designed this a long time ago, and I don't know when exactly. I actually have pictures of the first time I did build this, but I'm not quite sure where those pictures are right now. Nevertheless, how it works is that you put burnables. Let me actually grab some burnables real quick. Some coal and some spruce wood. You put the burnables in this chest right here, and they will fall down into this furnace, or actually both of these furnaces, so that they can be smelted. Over here you put in the coal, and the coal gets thrown into this furnace, and up here you put in spruce wood. Now the spruce wood gets smelted by the coal, gets basically duplicated 8 times into this furnace, and is able to cook all of our iron, and then spits it down into this chest. And that's basically how this machine works. So I hope that made some sense. The thing I love most about this machine is that if you have 1 coal, you can only cook 8 items. But by simply adding a little bit of wood to the equation, you can cook a whole stack of items. Now, I mean, sure, this might be a little bit hard to make automatic with rails and stuff because of the way it's designed, but I really do like this machine. And now that I'm finished with the demonstration, I'm going to move on out of this world, back to the lovely land of Drooks, and I will see you there. So I've got all the stuff in order to build it and start up the machine, but while I'm building it, it brings me on to a sort of important question. If any of you out in the world have any questions about this machine or how it works, or if you think it's not good enough and the design could be improved, or if you even just use it now as it is, and I'm not the only one in the whole wide world that's actually using this design, tell me in the comments, because I'd love to know if I'm the only one in the whole world using this machine. That'd be very nice to know. And if you do have any questions, just ask away, and if you have any design improvements or flaws that I have with my math or my logic, then go ahead and spit them out. I'm always open for criticism, especially on a machine that I use basically everywhere. But that aside, it is time to start fueling it up. So, wood goes in here. There's some spruce wood. We're going to throw some charcoal in here temporarily because I ran out of regular coal. Hence, one of the reasons for building this particular machine. And now I just gotta fill it to the top with things to burn. All kinds of food, gold, iron, and it'll all get cooked and thrown down here. And maybe someday, if we ever need it, I can build a rail system across multiple of these things, and we'll have like a super duper big one that, you know, stretches out 20 blocks and can handle hundreds and hundreds of fish. But for now, I've got my fish, and I'm happy. And that is really everything I wanted to do in this episode. With that being said, I'd like to thank you all for making it to the very end of episode 5 in the UTF series. I loved making this video, especially with all the little technical bits I got to do with the demonstrations. So I hope you all enjoyed as much as I did. However, if you do have any suggestions to help improve for future videos, feel free to leave them down in the comments section below. And remember, if you did like the video, to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to see more of my future content when it comes out. And, until the next video, keep swimming with the squids, and I will see you then.